Hello again. This is Fear Dragon coming at you with game number 2 of Mokomi versus Hasuu from vVv. And this is again going to be a Protoss versus Protoss, as this is the second game in the MLG Spring Online Qualifiers. I believe this is played in round 1. So let's go ahead and introduce these players again. Up here in the top side of Metropolis, we have vVvHasuu. Can he bring this game back? Can he bring this series back from game number, and take it to game number 3 and take this series away from Mokomi? Or will the red Protoss down here in the bottom side of Metropolis, will he be able to take this game? He is Mokomi. Now again, in the last game, we did see that very fast robotics, or actually not super fast robotics bay, but a relatively fast robotics bay from Mokomi, opting to go for the Colossus first versus going for that Blink Stalker play that Hasuu went for initially. And I have to say, Hasuu didn't really utilize the Blink Stalker play quite as well as he maybe could have or should have. He should have been doing a little bit more poking and a little bit more harassing in that last game if he wanted to really make sure that that paid off. But Hasuu did try and go for that double Colossus out of 2 robotics facilities play to try and overpower Mokomi's production of Colossus. But I think Mokomi hit a very solid timing. He hit it with +1 and charge eventually, and was able to take the game from vVvHasuu. So we're going to have to see if vVvHasuu can learn from that mistake, if Mokomi is going to in fact go for that same build again. And same with vVvHasuu. vVvHasuu still opting not, actually does decide to scout this game. If you recall, in the last game, game 1, vVvHasuu did not actually send out a scouting probe. He scouted first with his 3 stalkers, so an interesting decision, maybe deciding this time does not want to take the chance for it. As they do say, the second game of any series that's at least a best of 3 is the most common game for cheese. So I do like the decision to make sure that you at least scout in the second game. So that's a little bit of advice to everyone else. We do see this probe from Mokomi making sure that this gas geyser actually can't be taken, as this gas geyser is blocked currently by this probe. Let's see. Oh, actually, Mokomi even going for the gas steal. So that will force Hasuu into a bit of a predicament, although it looks like Hasuu went for the gas steal first. So both of these players going for the gas steal, going to be interesting to see what they decide to do. Usually this gas steal is there to say, hey look, you can't tech up fast, and you know what, if you oftentimes this will actually force players into a 4-gate position. So we're going to have to see if Mokomi ends up doing 4 gates. And same with vVvHasuu, if he ends up doing a 4-gate build. But I do think that both these players will more than likely not go for that 4-gate build. We do see the first Zealot out from vVvHasuu, so he did opt to go for that Zealot this time, and I could have sworn he went for it in the last game, but it ended up being cancelled instead. Meanwhile, Mokomi sticking with the tried and true build of last time, and actually sticking with the tried and true 4-gate of the old school Protoss versus Protoss. Actually, is this even in... Okay, only one of these gateways is in vision of this assimilator, but Mokomi going to be going for that 4-gate. Meanwhile, it looks like Hasuu not quite throwing down 4 gateways just yet. Oh, there's the 4th gateway from Hasuu. So both of these players deciding, hey, if I can't get my gas early enough, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to play it maybe a little bit aggressive and go for that 4-gate. Now, I do have to say, with vVvHasuu getting that Zealot and the Stalker, that is going to put him in a potentially advantageous position early on if he had moved out to try and put on some pressure. But meanwhile, it looks like Mokomi does finally have his own Zealot out now, as well as the Sentry. So that's actually going to put a very big hamper on vVvHasuu ability to put on any initial pressure or any kind of 4-gate pressure. But it doesn't look like vVvHasuu is really opting to do that just quite yet. He does have this proxy pylon over here, very close to Mokomi's base. So we're going to have to see whether or not he does decide to put on any pressure, or if that's just there to maybe put on pressure later with some early or like Zealot harassment. Meanwhile, we do see the Nexus coming down identically at the exact same time for both these players. But vVvHasuu going to go ahead and do a little bit of scouting with this 1 stalker. I do like that play. This probe might get picked off if Hasuu does decide to tag both of these Zelnaya watchtowers, and I think that would actually be very smart of him to do. Meanwhile, it looks like the second gas guys are going down for Hasuu, and second gas guys are already up for Mokomi, so Mokomi also going for that robotics facility as well. He's again going to be getting that tech advantage for those Colossus just a little bit earlier, might even just be going for some Immortals or for that Observer to play it a little bit safe. We don't quite know yet, but at the same time, the Twilight Council has been started and is now completed for vVvHasuu, so might be going for that blink play again. Hopefully he can make better use of it this time. We do see this probe coming in from Mokomi. He is going to scout the expansion. Oops, wrong unit. There we go. Okay. So Mokomi getting a scout off on that Nexus, so he does know that his opponent has expanded. Meanwhile, I don't believe that Hasuu does know about this Nexus as well. And now the probe's being transferred. But, oh no, Mokomi's units, where are they? They aren't anywhere nearby. Oh, there they are. They're at the front, so they are going to be a little bit ill-prepared to deal with this army, as, you know, Mokomi did opt to warp in those 2 sentries. Those 2 sentries can help out a little bit with this battle, but they're going to be a little bit lacking on DPS. Now with that Immortal, he will be able to force this army back, despite it having Blink in the near future. I'm not sure how much damage Hasuu will be able to do. He does not have the Observer, so he can't really do any kind of Blink up to the high ground harassment or kind of anything like that. But oh no, Blink not finished, so that means that Mokomi can use those force shields to snipe off a couple of stalkers. Mokomi probably knowing very well that, hey, despite having this many stalkers, that just the timing of it, I know that if my opponent went for that 4-gate build, he could not potentially have Blink quite yet. So Mokomi often used those force shields that he did have saved up to force shield off a couple of the stalkers. Now these stalkers are much less threatening to Mokomi. So Mokomi, a very good snag over there, and he's going to continue to make a couple more workers. Going to go ahead and get that Observer as well as that very early robotics bay again. So Mokomi not even going to mess around with any Blink Stalkers, not going to mess around with Dark Templar or Archons or anything of the sort. He's just going to go straight for that Colossus ball that he really seems to have liked in the previous game. Meanwhile, we do see a couple more gateways being thrown down for Hasuu. No sign of a robotics facility quite yet. So it's going to be very interesting to see whether or not Hasuu... Oh, actually no, we do have a robotics facility somewhere. Oh, here it is. Wow, I'm a little bit blind, sorry guys, but we do see that Observer. That's going to be very useful for that Blink Observer play and that Blink Observer harassment that I was talking about before. But this money probe could get a brilliant scout out on Hasu's base if he's paying attention. Meanwhile, we do see that this probe did land this pylon over here, but no, that probe is going to get picked off by these 2 warped-in stalkers. So these stalkers should go join with their brethren over here to put on that harassment as this Observer is making its way across the map and Blink is completed. Now, an interesting change from the last game is that we do see +1 weapons being researched for Hasuu before Mokomi opts to go for that. So this time it looks like Hasuu might be able to edge out an upgrade advantage if he hits the right timings. And this time I do think that Hasuu is playing this a lot smarter. He is going for that Blink Stalker harassment, but Mokomi has that pylon placed over there. He is going to be able to see these stalkers. Will he move his army? He's not moving his army quite yet. Just 2 stalkers blinking up. Oh, I love this play from Hasuu. Really making sure he's not going to commit too much to these stalkers. Oh no, the stalker misses the blink back. Now going to just end up losing those stalkers. So very well thought out play from Hasuu, trying to make sure that he doesn't, gonna go ahead and censor this. Gonna make sure that he doesn't try and lose those stalkers or too many stalkers unnecessarily, as he does want to keep them alive for that big battle, and he just wants to put on as much harassment as possible, keep Mokomi pinned back. But Hasuu being a little bit aggravated, saying, Mokomi, you can just come over and kill me. What are you waiting for? Maybe a little bit of taunting to try and get Mokomi to come out of his base prematurely so that he can put on a little bit of blink stalker harassment. But we're going to have to wait and see exactly how this ends up playing out. Thermal Lance is getting finished up. We do see the Twilight Council coming down from Mokomi. And Mokomi actually going ahead and might be getting for that Blink Stalker play. And it looks like Hasuu is still just a little bit upset with Mokomi, feeling like he's getting outplayed just a little bit. I do think that Hasuu is playing quite well in this game. We can see here he's doing pretty well in terms of economy. He is taking his third. Ignore that sound, but he is going to go and take out the destructible rocks. I do like that play, as he knows that just having areas of the map more blocked off is going to hurt him more than help him, as he doesn't have those Colossus on the way quite yet. He doesn't have a Robotics Bay on the way yet either, so he does want that more mobile force that can potentially get more flanking positions. Now we do see Mokomi finally starting to move out. He does have these two Colossus out. He has the Immortal. He has a good number of Stalkers and is not going for any Blink Stalker play quite yet, as I'm really curious what he did end up getting that Twilight Council for so early. But it looks like +2 weapons starting for Hasuu, so maybe, I don't think that Hasuu can delay this push long enough for +2 to finish, but he will have the Templar Archives finishing up, so if he can delay just a little bit, and maybe, I think he's going to have to sacrifice this third, but he might be able to get out some Archons in time, then that would really help to soak the damage. But these Zealots getting ready for a flanking position along with these Stalkers will be able to do a massive amount of damage, but these Colossus target firing down the Zealots. Now the Stalkers are in a great position to snipe out the Colossus. One goes down, the second one's going to go down soon. The Zealots doing a massive amount of damage, but the Zealots are almost completely gone, and now these Immortals are making their weight in gold known to these Stalkers, saying, hey, guess what? I do a bunch of damage to you. I don't even need +1. So now these Immortals, wow, already racking up about 10 kills. The final Colossus does go down, but I think that there just aren't enough units from Hasuu. There are quite a few Zealots left over, and they are doing quite a bit of damage to Mokomi's army, but he has so many Stalkers, and now the probes are finally getting pulled off, and I don't think that these probes are going to survive this fight. This is going to be a very sad fight for these probes. Now this Colossus saying, yum, yum, probes, these are my favorite meal of the day, and +2 weapons not even going to finish before this army is completely massacred. So very, very well played by Mokomi. Not even really gonna, oh man, not even gonna get the Immortal. Hasuu a little bit regretful about maybe some of the mistakes he made, not feeling like he played his absolute best, but I do have to say Mokomi played very well. I still think that Hasuu made some very, very smart decisions, such as just blinking up 2 of these Stalkers over here when he was trying to do that harassment. He ended up botching the blink back down to the low ground, so he ended up losing 2 of those Stalkers, but just having done that, saying, hey, I'm going to make sure that I can poke in, I can see what damage I can do, but I'm not going to commit too many of my forces. I'm not going to blink my entire force up and get everything caught off guard. So a little bit sad for vVvHasuu from Team vVv, but very well done from Mokomi. Anyways, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this cast. Please leave any feedback or comments that you have in the comments below. This has been Fear Dragon, casting a replay submitted by Mokomi for MLG Spring Online Qualifiers for 2012. Please submit any replays that you want casted to feardragon64@gmail.com. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.